I want to share with you all a very wise learning I had in the tech industry recently, which I think is a lesson that can apply to both design, management, and life. And that is focus on the happy path. The happy path, according to Wikipedia, means a default scenario featuring no exceptional or error conditions. For example, the happy path for a function validating credit card numbers would be where none of the validation rules raise an error, thus letting execution continue successfully to the end, generating a positive response. So why am I saying this? Because throughout my time working as a product designer and UI or UX designer, I came to the realization that there's just always so many edge cases no matter what you design for. Let's say you're designing for a website that eventually wants to sell a product on the website. The happy path could be a user came into the website through an ad on Google, and then the user is using a mobile device. The user scrolls through the mobile device, understood the product, and then buy it following the flow. This is the happy path. But what if the user was using a TV browser? What if the user doesn't have really good internet connection, so he or she cannot load the videos on the screen? This could be a very simple example, but the product can get so complex that there will be like 100 use cases. But what I found very not helpful is that if you're designing for a complex product, I've seen people coming into the first few most important meetings, and then people start saying, oh, what if that, what if that, what if that, what if that, what if that? And then what ended up happening is that you just keep talking about the edge cases, and then you forgot the most important path, which is the happy path, and then you didn't design really well for the happy path. And then you ended up with a product that's overly complex. Eventually, there's not a lot of people following the happy path anymore. So what I'm saying is that I think it's super important to spend 80% of the effort making the happy path very well designed. And only if you nail down the happy path, you can start thinking about how to design for these edge cases. But if you let these edge cases or some like worst case scenarios occupy your entire mental space, you will end up designing a product that's just not even good for 80% of the users. And that's just not wise. So if you're a designer, or if you work in the tech industry, or if you want to build a great product, I want to challenge you to spend twice as much of time as you spent before on thinking how to make the happy path better. Once you figure that out, try to fill in the gaps of those edge cases. This methodology, for me, it actually leads to a win-win situation, because once the happy path is well designed, I'm like way more relaxed than before, and then I can have the focus time on thinking about each edge cases by cases, and then designing for them cases by cases. And since I have the happy path as a reference, I can always speed up my design for the other scenarios. And I want to talk about how this also changed my life and how I think this concept will also change your life in the later part of the video. But for now, let me introduce you to a very interesting tool if you want to present yourself as a more professional person. If you ever wondered how to get a professional, effective, and good-looking email signature, YStamp is the answer. With just a few clips, you can create an email signature and apply it to all of your future emails. You can embed your personal website, your social media, your call to action button, literally anything that you want here. And you can customize it to whatever you like it to look. As a designer, I just love rounded corners, so here I'm just turning all the sharp corners into rounded corners. This is a personal preference. Another thing I love about YStamp is this sign up feature. So you can put a personalized, handwritten signature in every single one of your email. Some of you may think this is too extra, but I like it, and you can do whatever you like because, again, customization. As a product designer who's also trying to run a small business on the side, I am in love with this product, and I want to thank YStamp for sponsoring today's video. So click the link in the description and use the code ALIENATAI35 for 35% off your subscription. Go click the link. I think in life, we should also spend 80% of the effort focusing on the happy path. But the happy path in life is a little bit different from the technology world or from the product design world. I think the happy path is the best case scenario path. So growing up, I've been educated a lot of time. Oh, what's your plan B? What's your plan C? What's your plan D? What if this happened? What if that happened? What if you didn't get into that school? What if you didn't get that job? What if, look, There's so many bad things that can happen to our life, but I no longer think it's wise to focus on how do I deal with the worst case scenario if it happens. If I spend 80% of my effort thinking about those scenarios, when do I spend the time to work for the best case scenario? You know what I mean? And I think this mindset it's very life-changing, especially if you're in a time where you are experiencing a lot of change in your life. It's very, very likely that you think about the worst case scenario, like, oh, what if I want to transfer into product design, but I failed? What if I don't get a job in 3 years? What if I get laid off? Well, what if you get promoted tomorrow? What if you get a $1 million investment tomorrow? What if you start a company and it takes off? What if you build a personal brand that's so successful that so many companies are chasing after you? What if you are invited to a different country to work and it offers you such a good deal? I think many times we are prepared for the worst case scenario because we are afraid of it, and then the fear brings us to think a lot about the worst case scenario, which actually made us subconsciously prepare for these worst case scenarios. However, I don't think we're trained enough to think about the best case scenario. I think very little people are emotionally prepared to become a CEO tomorrow versus being laid off tomorrow. I want to challenge myself to spend 80% of my effort focusing on the best case scenario so that when the opportunity comes, I'm fully prepared. Or the best case scenario can be I can create opportunities for myself. I don't need to wait until other people provide me these opportunities. This topic on the happy path really made me think a lot about product design for sure, but also the mindset I want to use going forward approaching my life decisions and how I want to spend my time and my mental space. I hope this is insightful. If you find this interesting, you'll probably will also find this video interesting. I'm Aliana and I will see you in this video.